Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Thursday, May the 10th, and welcome to our video commentary. Just a quick happy birthday here to my mother. She's 89 today, so happy birthday to my mom. I know she'll watch this a little bit later today. Today we want to talk about the CIA director confirmation hearings that we've seen here in the last couple of days. As you probably know, President Trump nominated the CIA director Pompeo to Secretary of State, so that created an opening, and he named Gina Haspel to succeed Mr. Pompeo, and she's currently in the confirmation process. Now, this lady, Gina Haspel, would make history. She would be the first woman CIA director, but on top of that, this is an extremely qualified lady. She's been in the CIA over 25 years, as I understand. She has always been regarded as a very competent bureaucrat who knows what her job is. She has worked for Democrat and Republican administrations. She's not really your classic political appointment, that is, someone who was put in a position because of a political affiliation, let's say, with the president. Now, she's actually really more of a CIA professional, and that's what makes the attacks on this lady, what we've seen at these hearings, despicable. Look, the reason that the Senate has the constitutional responsibility to confirm the appointments is not to relitigate the last election. It's not to have a debate over the last election. The election is over. We have a president, and he gets to govern. And one of the ways that he gets to govern is by naming people, obviously, to positions like the CIA, Secretary of State, judges, and all of that. And historically, the Senate has usually given the president the team that he wants because, after all, he won the election. For example, when President Obama nominated people for the CIA or for the Supreme Court or for other positions, he was generally given those positions or the people for those positions, and he generally got pretty good numbers because I think a lot of Republicans said, hey, we may disagree with this nominee politically, but they won the election. He deserves to have his team. Unfortunately, that is not being given to President Trump by many Democrats. And what we're really watching, it's very sad. It's very sad because these hearings have become, again, arguments over issues that should be settled in the political arena, not in these confirmation hearings. For example, when Secretary Pompeo was going through a confirmation hearing, the senator from New Jersey, Mr. Booker, got into a line of questions about gay sex and what the future Secretary of State thought about gay sex. I have no idea what that has to do with being Secretary of State. Apparently, the senator wanted to know if the future Secretary of State was going to convey American values. Well, I don't know anything about gay sex and American values, but I do know that the Supreme Court made same-sex marriage legal in the United States. So two people of the same sex can get married in the United States. So I don't understand why Senator Booker made an issue out of this. And then, of course, in the hearings for Gina Haspel, many Democrats got off on all of these allegations of torture and all of that, which is, again, insane. Whatever decisions were made in the aftermath of 9/11 were made in the spirit of defending the United States. Remember, we didn't have a lot of rules. We didn't have a handbook on how to deal with a terrorist attack that killed 3,000 Americans. Now, a lot of that has been written since, and we're better prepared for that, at least in how to treat the terrorists. But at the time, the spirit was, how do we stop terrorists, and how do we prevent another attack? I'm sure all of you remember 9/11. All of you remember the weeks and days after 9/11. Nobody was talking about how to deal with terrorists. What everybody was talking about is, how do we prevent another attack? Because I remember back then, I go back then, and I remember everybody was talking about the next attack and how much more deadly it could be. There was even talk of chemical weapons. There was talk of trucks going through tunnels. There was talk of trucks, crashing into chemical plants. I mean, it was pretty deadly what was going on back then, and everybody was very concerned about it. So the people who had to make these decisions, the people who had to make the very difficult decisions to interrogate terrorists, this was not a fantasy. This was not a theoretical thing. They had to make some tough calls, but they made them in the spirit of defending the United States, and that's what this lady was a part of. She was a part of a team of people who had to make very tough calls, but in the spirit of defending the United States. I just find it frankly despicable to watch some of these Democrats. Now, I think in the case of some Democrats, like Senator Harris of California and Senator Booker of New Jersey, what you're really seeing in these hearings is, in essence, the first debate, the first Democrat debate for 2020. So they're out there taking positions because they're all going as far to the left as possible, thinking that that's where you have to be to get the nomination. But the bottom line is they're not thinking about the country. They're just thinking about themselves, and I think that's highly despicable. There will be time for the 2020 Democrat debates. There will be time to review what these people did in the aftermath of 9/11, but that's not right now. That's not right now. This lady is super qualified, and she should be confirmed as CIA director, and should be confirmed with huge numbers, not just on a partisan line, on a partisan party basis. Thank you for watching. We have all of these at YouTube, we have them on Twitter, and we have them on my blog. Have a great day, everybody. Happy birthday to my mother. Bye-bye.